And we're back again. Toolkit for the fresh rape victim. As per always, whenever I get a bit stuck about what's my next episode, my private rape angel reaches out. This week I got a quote from her going like this. To me and to so many other women that went through rape, there is this holy trinity: rape, self-harm, and eating disorders. I'm pretty sure you girls know exactly what am I talking about. I think the underlying assumption for why we hurt ourselves is that that's what we deserve. It's a bit harder to think that we were raped or sexually abused just because that's the way it was. So, in a weird, twisted way, it's easier for us to assume that if it happened to us, it means we deserve that. If it happened to us, it means we might have brought it upon ourselves. And such a belief creates a lot of self-hatred and a lot of self-anger. From this self-hatred, we develop a whole complete mechanism of how we should continue punish ourselves. Look, for many years I would go around like that. I would never brush my hair, have my glasses, maybe a hat, hiding, covering, trying to be unseen, to not be beautiful, to not attract people, to not bring any more danger on me. These images you see are the way I perceived myself in all those years in which I thought I was to blame and it's my fault and this darkness lays within me. We're trying to make sure it's not going to happen to us again, but we're also punishing ourselves because we brought it on ourselves. We don't deserve to be beautiful. We don't deserve to be attractive. And I think that's wrong. I think we definitely deserve to be attractive. I think it's a basic right, and we've paid enough and we've been punished enough, and it's about time we stop punishing ourselves for that. It took me a long time to change my self-perception from that rigid, dark, gray vision of myself into something closer to reality. I only learned the last few years how to be a woman, how to allow myself to be prettier, to do my hair, sometimes use makeup, not always go around with my glasses hiding my eyes. And it's not natural, but I think it's one of the things we need to reconstruct and tell ourselves, you know what, we actually deserve. We're allowed to be as pretty as we can. We can choose to be so if we wanted to. And the world, the people that did that to us, they need to take care of themselves. We shouldn't continue paying for what we went through by continue punishing ourselves, by continuing being less than what we can be. We are 4 times more likely to suffer from suicidal tendencies. Some of us will try to commit suicide in less obvious ways. Anorexia, bulimia, self-hurting, cutting, burning. Those are all physical ways in which we'll hurt ourselves. Some of us will scar our body to give a physical expression to emotional scars. A lot of us will do everything we can to blur the way we experience life, to blur our emotions, to blur our trauma. Some of us would not eat at all. Some of us will eat excessively, assuming that if we'll be less thin and less attractive, we might not be in such danger again. Some of us will repeatedly put ourselves in situations where other people can harm us when we can be hurt again. One of the expression of this chronic situation we suffer from has to do with difficulties in the most mundane day-to-day activities, in feeding herself, in taking good care of herself, in treating herself nicely. Personally, I find quite a challenge in just doing basic activities like feeding myself. When I took Emma, one of the reasons I took her initially was the thought that if I would have a dog that I need to feed twice a day, I'll make sure while I feed her that I feed myself. Another thing, it was really hard for me to go to sleep without being totally blurred, so I was either drinking or smoking myself to sleep. In the last few months, I started going to sleep with meditation, and it does help quite a lot. Definitely helps me to not blur myself so much. So I think the best advice I can give on that matter is to start from the outside in. Even though you don't believe you deserve better, even though you don't think you're worthy of good care and love and support, try act this way. So if you're struggling with feeding yourself, put an alarm clock. If you feel the need to cut yourself or hurt yourself again, go out for a run. And if you have the habit of emotionally abusing yourself, try to replace it in self-love. It will feel artificial initially, but then within time, it will become more and more part of our lives. I think in a way we're trying to close this gap. There is a big gap between how the world sees us as supposedly normal to the way we feel. We feel hurt, we feel broken, we feel filthy. To close this gap between the way society looks at us and the way we perceive ourselves, we need to hurt ourselves. In many ways, I think self-abusing ourselves is a way of expressing unshared pain, hidden trauma. So I do think that as much as we'll talk about that, as much as we'll stop carrying it all by yourself, we're more and more likely to stop self-harming and self-hurting. So please, take a good care of yourself until I see you next. Next episode, we'll talk about how to have a normal relationship. Love, intimacy, relationship. How can we do that? Please continue writing, sharing, commenting. Honestly, I have no words to describe how much strength you guys are giving me. Until then, please, 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 this time more than ever, don't hurt yourself. I'm begging you.